Hi everybody, welcome to video 7 of the 10-day program that I created. Today is going to be focused on indirect objects in Latin. So let's continue. To review problems, what is the case and number of days? So if you look at the chart on the bottom, you can see that days ends with an IS. What else ends with an IS? Families both ends in IS in the dative plural and the ablative plural. Thus, the case and number of days is either dative plural or ablative plural. Number 2, right after the fight in Latin. So this is all review problems. So if you haven't looked at the old videos, make sure to watch those before you come to this one. And check out the worksheet in the description below, because that can help you with all the vocab and it has all of the old material on there, so you can look at it to help you with these types of questions. And I'd recommend doing all these questions first, then checking the answers and going through them with me. But if you really don't have much time, just go through them with me. So number 2, right after the fight in Latin. So after, as you remember, is post, and the fight and post always takes an accusative. So in the fight is pugna. So after the fight, pugna, how do you have to make pugna accusative singular. To do that, you have to make it end with am. So it'd be post pugnam in Latin, post pugnam. So yeah, that's number 2. Number 3, translate sub into las. So insulas is accusative plural, and it means islands. So and sub means under. So translate, it's under the islands, plural. Number 4, translate nautai, habitant, apud, patriam. Nautai means sailors, because it's nominative plural. Habitant is third person plural, and it means they live. But since we already have a subject, it's just the sailors live. Apud means near, so the sailors live near, and patriam means country. So the sailors live near the country, and patriam is accusative singular. So the sailors live near the country. Number 5, translate discipula, nerat, famam, and literas. So for number 5, discipula is student. So the student, narat, is tells. So the student tells, and narat is third person singular, and it's either he, she, or it tells. But since we already have a subject, it's the student tells. So the student tells. Famam is a rumor, so and it's accusative singular. So it's the student tells a rumor, and then since it's in plus an accusative plural, because literas is accusative plural, it translates as into. So the student tells a rumor into the letters. And literas is accusative plural. So the student tells a rumor into the letters. Into the letters. Okay, next one. Write hours in Latin in the nominative plural. So if you look at the chart on the left, or the bottom left, you'll see that the nominative plural is AE, right? It ends with AE. And hours in Latin is hour in Latin is ora. So how do we make it nominative plural? It will be ori. Ori. H-O-R-A-E. Okay, number 9. Write we greet in Latin the first person plural. So greet in Latin is saluto. To make it the first person plural, you have to make it end with M-U-S. But remember the rule, all O's have to change to A. So it'll be salutamus for number 9. Salutamus. Okay, number 10. Write in Latin, the poets sing stories about Gloria, or glory. That's what I meant, glory. Okay, so poeta means poet. So poetai, the nominative plural, would be poets. So it'd be poetai, and sing is canto. So canto means sing, but however, you have to make it into the third person plural in order to work in the sentence. Because the third person plural is they sing. So how do we make canto end with nt? It will be cantant, since the O has to change to an A. C-A-N-T-A-N-T. Cantant. So it's poetai, cantant, and then stories. Fabula means story. Fabula. But however, it has to be accusative. It has to be in the accusative case because it's the direct object. and must be accusative plural since it's stories. So it would be poetae, cantant, fabulas, and then about is they, de, they. So poetae, cantant, fabulas, they, and then they always takes an ablative. So, and ablative is the same thing. Gloria is the same thing as Gloria. So it would be de Gloria. So poetae, cantant, fabulas, de Gloria. And that's how you translate number 10. Number 11, write in Latin. So the goddesses introduced the woman without her daughter. So the goddesses, we know goddess is dea. The goddesses is plural of dea, so it's dei, deae, dei. And then introduce, that's the same thing. So intro means introduce, but how do we make it third person plural? It would be intrant, right? Nt, since you have to change the O to an A and add an Nt. So it would be dei, intrant, and then the direct object or the accusative case would be the woman. And it's singular. So it would be feminam, right? Because femina means woman, but feminam is the accusative singular woman. So it would be dei, intrant, feminam, sine, which is without. And since without or sine always takes an ablative, daughter has to be the ablative case, and daughter in the ablative case is just filia. So it's dei, intrant, feminam, sine, filia, and that's how you translate number 11. So those are just some review problems. Take time to just practice these by yourself. To maybe pause the video, and then once you feel ready, let's move on. Next one, so indirect objects. What is an indirect object? It always takes the dative case. They answer the question to or for blank. So like an example would be, I gave a pencil to the boy. The boy would be the indirect object since he is what's receiving the pencil. The direct object always answers the question what. So in the sentence above, the pencil would be the direct object and the boy would be the indirect object who is receiving the direct object or the pencil. So another practice in English sentence, I gave that man money. Which one is the direct object and which one is the indirect object? So what are you actually giving? You're giving money and you're giving it to that man. So what you're actually giving is the direct object. So the money is the direct object, and who's receiving the money is the indirect object. So the man is the indirect object. So if you look above in the sentence above, the girl gives money to the girl. The first girl is the subject, gives is the verb. Money is not a preposition, that's a typo. It's actually a direct object. And to the girl is the indirect object. So, because the girl is what's receiving the money, which is the direct object. So yes, let's continue. New vocab. Okay, so like I said again, I will go through the first principal part and the definition, and take a minute if you want to pause the video and just practice it yourself, practice pronunciation, and so I'll start. Edifico, to build. Apropinquo, to approach. Cogito, to think. Habito, to live. Impero, to order. Invito, to invite. Lacrimo, to cry. Supero, to overcome or overpower. Vulnero, to wound or to injure. Sto, to stand. Libero, to set free. Neco, to kill. Nuntio, to announce. Opugno, to attack. Oro, to beg. Puto, to think. Rogo, to ask. Servo, to save. Spero, to hope. So those are all the vocab. You can see some of them are very similar, like nuntio, to announce. You can see how they kind of relate. Opugno, to attack. Pugno means a fight, so opugno, to attack. Invito, to invite. See, these are things that are very similar. And you can see derivatives from English of these words. So let's continue and maybe play the picture game to help you picturize these words, to help you memorize it faster. Okay, so game time. So, I'm going to go through what each of these pictures relate to the Latin word. So this one is sto, or stand. This one is invito, or invite. This is vulnero, or wound. This is lacrimo, or cry. This one is cogito, to think. This one is impero, to order. This one is apropinquo, to approach. This one is supero, to overcome or surpass, or to overpower. This one is edifico, to build. And this one is, I think this one is, I think actually this one is supero, to surpass or overcome. And this one is habito, to live. Yes. So I'll repeat that to make sure you guys understand. So this one is supero, or to surpass. This one is habito, or to live. This one is edifico, to build. This one is impero, to order. This one is apropinquo, to approach. This one is cogito, to think. This one is vulnero, to wound. This one is lacrimo, to cry. This one is sto, to stand. And this one is invito, to invite. So yeah, take a second to pause the video and maybe practice these on your own. Match each word to each picture, and just help yourself picturize each word, because that will help you memorize it much faster. Okay, next one. So next words. So this word, this picture is libero, or to set free. This one is opugno, or to attack. This one is puto, to think. This one, or actually, this one may be rogo, to ask. So, to repeat. So to repeat what I've said, this one is libero, to set free. This is opugno, to attack. This is rogo, to ask. This is neko, to kill. This is puto, to think. This is spero, to hope. This is nuntio, to announce. This is servo, to save. And this is oro, to beg. So yes, one more time to repeat it. Neko, to kill. Puto, to think. Spero, to hope. Nuntio, to announce. Servo, to save. Rogo, to ask. Libero, to set free. Opugno, to attack. And oro, to beg. So yeah, take a second to pause the video and try it yourself, and try just picturizing each word to their definition, and that will help you memorize it much faster. Okay, now last slide, let's practice. So what is the case and number of Terrys? I know I didn't include a chart here, so let me try doing that right now. Let's see, to help you all out. I think you all will get it right now. Okay, that chart, and let's copy and paste this chart too. Okay, so yeah, take a second to pause and just try these problems out yourself. I will give you a second, and then I will explain them. Okay, so yeah, let's try it together. So what is the case and number of Terrys? Okay, so Terrys, that comes from terra, right? Terra is a noun. So let's look at the purple chart. So terra. So what in the purple chart ends with is? The dative and the ablative plural. So that must be the case and number of Terrys. Dative and ablative plural. That's number one. So what are the possible cases number of vitae? So let's look at the chart again, the purple chart. Which ones end with AE? Genitive singular, dative singular, and nominative plural. That means that those are the case and numbers of vitae. Okay, that's number two. Number three, write I give the pirate land in Latin. Okay, so for this, we should break it down. So we know do means I give. So do, and then the pirate is the indirect object, and land is the direct object of the sentence in English. So now we have to make that in Latin. So since land is the direct object, it has to be in the accusative case. So do, and then this one has to be terram, since it has to be accusative singular. So do, terram, and then pirate is the indirect object, so it has to be in the dative case. And And parata. So how do you make parata into the dative case? It would be paratai. So it would be do teram paratai. That's the Latin sentence. Okay, number 4. Damus poetai pecuniam. Okay, so damus. We know do means give, but damus means we give, because you can look at the chart on the right. So it's we give, and pecuniam is the one in the accusative case. So that means it's the direct object, or what you give. So it's we give money, because that's what the definition of pecuniam is, in the accusative singular. And then poetai is the dative, and it would be to the poet. You can always add to or for to any dative to make it translate better, because those are all just tag-on words, and dative always has the to or for helper words to help it out. Just remember that to or for you can add on to any dative. So we give money, and since poetai is dative singular, and it's the indirect object, you translate it as to the poet. So we give money to the poet. That's number 4. Number 5. Translate magistri, servant, horam, puellis. So magistri. Magistra means teacher. Magistri means teachers, since it's noun the plural. Servant is the third person plural of servo, which means save. So it means they save. However, we already have a subject, so it's the teachers save. And oram is the accusative singular, so it's just the hour. So the teachers save the hour, and puellis is dative plural, and that's the indirect object of the sentence. So and puella means girl, and puellis is plural, so it's girls. However, it's dative, so you can add to or for, so it'd be for the girls. So the teachers save the hour for the girls. That's number 5. And then number 6, translate Regina natat ad terram puellae. So Regina means queen, nato means swim, natat means he, she, or it swims. However, we already have a subject, so it's the queen swims, and then ad means to, so the queen swims to, and then terram means the land, because that's what terra means, and the accusative singular. So the queen swims to the land, and then puellae is the dative singular, since it's the indirect object. It's the queen swims to the land for the girl. So that's a dative singular, so you can add to or for, so it'd be for the girl. The queen swims to the land for the girl. So yeah, that's it. Those are indirect object practice questions. Now you know indirect objects. Thank you all for your time, and feel free to watch the next episode.